Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And a clinical second half display from Munster was enough to hand them a bonus point victory over a very resilient and pretty impressive Stormers outfit who came out firing in the first half and really gave it a good go. But unfortunately for the men from South Africa, a yellow card to Salman Murat in the second half was kind of their undoing. And after a very impressive first half, just not managing to get to half-time without conceding points and then conceding two tries very early in the second half. And unfortunately, that was kind of that. And again, a kind of a match which is highlighting, we don't know if it's an interpretation, but there seems to be a very big difference to what, the South African understandings of some of the laws are and the Northern Hemisphere referees. And again, a match where a couple of 50-50 calls possibly going towards the side of Munster. I don't like to talk about referees. I really don't. If you watch the channel, you'll know that I really think that it's always a cop-out to blame the ref. But I was frustrated at some of the calls today, and I think it is a bit of a trend that is a bit worrying. As I said, whether it's a case of interpretation, whether it's a case of they officiate differently and we're just not used to it, I don't know. But it is something that needs to be addressed pretty soon, or else the South African sides are really going to struggle. But before we look at the game itself, please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. The Stormers, well, they were off to a fantastic start as Warwick Halant finished off. Stormers scored two very, very nice tries. Warwick Halant going over in the 8th minute. Manie Libbok missing the conversion before Leon Lanzas going over just 11 minutes later. So it was a terrific start from the Stormers. Two tries very quickly. Manie Libbok knocking over a penalty goal as well in the 29th minute. So they were 15-0 up after half an hour and looking really, really good. Some very enterprising play. I thought Warwick Halant was tremendous today. So good at this attacking space and getting people in behind and finding gaps. I think he is the solution for the Springbok fullback. And I really hope that we get to see him in the Springbok jersey very, very soon. But Manie Libbok was also pretty impressive, as was the Stormers pack in the first half. The likes of Salman Murat, RJ Smith, Namaklaba, Evan Lewis really were leading from the front. But unfortunately for Stormers, just, conceding right at half-time, literally after the buzzer, as Jack O'Donoghue went over with Joey Carberry knocking over the points. And that was a big moment because Stormers could have gone to the half-time 15 points nil up. Instead, they went 15-7 with the Munster, sort of halving the gap. And that was a big moment. And then they came out in the second half, Stormers under a lot of pressure. Salman Murat got sent off in the 42nd minute. And by the time he came on, his side was behind. Jean Klein going over in the 46th minute with Joey Carberry adding their seconds, the extras, and then Niall Scannell going over just 4 minutes later. And all of a sudden, Salman Murat returns and the game, not away from them, but they are suddenly trailing. Tim Sriel kicked a three-pointer in the 67th minute, but then a try by Ben Healy, a try by Archie Snyman was sort of the final nail in the coffin. And the frustrating thing is that the try by Archie Snyman came from a penalty where Cyril Peterson went up for the ball to compete with fullback for Munster, Mike Haley. And I personally think that he was entitled to go for it. They both went up. The ball actually landed about half a meter away from them. So they both misjudged it pretty poorly. And yet it was blown against Cyril Peterson for taking the man out in the air, which I think was the wrong call. I think it's ludicrous they're not allowed to compete anymore. They kick to the corner, they win a line out, Archie Snyman powers over, and boom, bonus point for being within 7 and having a chance of getting back into the game was taken away by the Stormers. And just to sort of make the scoreline look even worse, Ben Healy sealing a very good penalty towards right after the Hooter went to put on the extra 3 points to make it 34 points to 18. The Stormers will leave that game thinking that we were competitive for a large amount of it. I mean, when they were 15-on-15, they conceded 2 tries, scored 2 tries. So it was when they went down to 14 men, it was just after Salman Murat got sent off that Munster really made that period count. In those 10 minutes, scoring 12 points, that was the turning point, from being in ahead and leading from the front. Murat goes off and then they score 2 quick tries and they go ahead. But I think the Stormers will be quite impressed, be quite happy. I take a lot of confidence out of the fact that they physically matched one of the most physical sides in the competition, and that in many ways in the first half, they went toe for toe and were better than them. So definitely a bit of a positive there, but it's another SA team going down. It's another SA team conceding 5 points and not being able to get anything from it, which, all team, not a single point across the 4 South African sides this weekend, which is a little bit concerning. But as I do say, it is early days, and I don't think we need to worry too much just yet. If we're still having these sort of results come sort of March, April next year, then we can start to worry. But I think when everyone gets back to full fitness, when we start adapting, we start playing home games, away games, we'll start seeing a bit of a difference, I think. If we look at the stats, Munster's second half made all the difference. But, you look at the defenders beaten. 46% possession for Munster, 54% possession for Stormers, who dominated possession. They beat 23 defenders to Munster's 1. 5 clean breaks to Munster's 1. 13 offloads to Munster's 1. But conceding 16 turnovers as well. Sometimes getting guilty of getting away from the support play. 5 tries to 2, so a 7-try thriller. Defensively, Stormers missed 14 tackles and made 109. According to Rugby Pass, Munster missed 18, having to make 87. 5 turnovers won by Munster, 4 by Rugby by Stormers. Looking at the breakdown, was pretty even, and discipline-wise, 12 penalties conceded by Stormers, just the 7 by Munster. And I do think some of those were very, very harsh penalties. In terms of big performers, I thought that the loose shift for Munster was pretty solid. Gavin Coombs was always willing to take things it up. Freeland Wycherley and John Clay, the 2 lock, carried a lot for Munster, as did Peter Marnie. And then, I thought Craig Casey played very well, the scrum off, and Shane Daly looked pretty dangerous when he had space. For the Stormers, so much of it came through Warwick Galant. He had 12 carries today, beating 1 clean break, beating 5 defenders, 39 meters gain. He was everywhere today, and he was brilliant. Scoring a try as well. I thought he was very good. Dan du Plessis looked pretty good in the early stages as well. Monty Liebog looked very good. I was quite impressed by him. But, Evan Lewis, 18 carries today. Beating 2 defenders. Some were at 16 carries today, according to Rugby Pass. So very, very big shifts there. Defensively, very impressive. Evan Lewis, 10 tackles, not a single one missed. Him and Pepsi Buthelezi are just sitting there trying to outperform each other. Very, very promising 8th man there. Sam Murat made 11 tackles and didn't miss 1. Billy Engelbrecht made 13 tackles, missed 3, but Namak Klaba made 10 tackles, didn't miss a single one, 3 turnovers, 1, a superb performance from the number 6. And then Dan du Plessis, very solid in the midfield, making 8 tackles and not missing a single one. Brock Harris, Garen Tabeni, Nitley Bashir also combining for almost 30 tackles across the 3 of them. For Munster, the big tacklers were Peter Mahoney, 11 tackles from him, 7 from Niall Scannell, 8 from John Klein, not a single one missed from him. Joe Carberry was doing quite a lot of defensive work, did slip 3 tackles but made 10. But in terms of penalties conceded, Brock Harris conceded 2. Namak Klaba conceded 2, but he always will, as being sort of that fringe player in and around the breakdown. Gavin Coombs also conceding 2. So, let me know what you thought about that game. I thought the Stormers looked a lot better than we already expected them to be in, and I think they'll be frustrated that they couldn't keep that performance up for a longer period of time, because it was very impressive when they were going. But please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. My name is Stephen. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll chat to you soon.